In this video, we're going to go over the 3 Ds to buy an investment property. What's up, Casey? It's Guys here, and welcome back to another episode of Gulf Coast Investing, where we talk about all things investing right here on the Gulf Coast. I would love if you would hit the subscribe button to this channel and hit the like button so that you will be able to see more great info just like this one. So today I wanted to make a video since a lot of you may have on your goals and dreams for 2023 to buy a new piece of investment property. So whether that's a commercial, residential, whatever that is, even if it's a business that's doing real estate and things like that. Wanted to kind of go over for some tips and things that you should be doing and thinking about to get ready to buy an investment piece of property. So today it's the 3 Ds. So all 3 of these start with D, so kind of easy to remember. So the first one is to decide what you want to do with the property. What kind of return do you want to have? So a couple different ways that you can invest in real estate, especially residential real estate. So number one is you can just flip it. So that's where you go, you buy, you find a property that needs some work. The owner maybe can't do the work, or there's been a death in the family, something like that, and they just need to sell the property and be done with it. So you get in, you either borrow or use your own cash, all the chunk up front to buy the piece of property, to put the money in the renovation, you flip it, and then you sell it hopefully within a 90-day window. So that's, you have to have your financing, your cash, and all that ready for that type of flip. So another one is a buy and hold. So that's one where maybe it's necessarily not a distressed piece of property, but it's something that you want to buy it. It's in a good neighborhood. It's a good one that you want. You're going to buy it and you're going to rent it out. So you're going to, you're going to buy it, find a family that is going to pay you more than what you're paying, and you get the appreciation value of that property, plus you get the rent and the write-off and all that kind of thing. So the third one is this is kind of a newer one, which is fun, which is a flip and rent. So if you're just going to flip it, normally you're going to go all out with the finishings. You're going to, put in the granite and redo the showers and the bathrooms and all that. A lot of times if you're going to do a buy to flip it and rent it, you maybe can get away with not going, to the extreme on the finishes and things like that. So pretty much you're going to flip it. Then you're going to find a family to come in. They're going to rent it from you, for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. You're going to have it as a rental. And then you have the option if you want to renew leases or if you just want to go ahead and sell it. So some people do a partial flip, get a renter in there for a couple years, finish the flip, and then sell it. So that's another strategy. So then the last one is the BRRRR method. So we had a whole nother video that talked about that method a little more in detail. Again, there's channels that are all related to that. That's where you buy, you renovate it or rehab it, whichever one you want. You rent it out, you refinance it, and then you repeat it. But in the refinance part, you're putting all your money in and the renovation costs. When you refinance it, hopefully you're pulling 80% out of the total new value that it's worth. And hopefully that 80% is all the money you put in. So now you're into a property essentially for free. You take that same money and you go do it again and again and again. And that's the last R, which is repeat. So knowing how and what method you're going to use to invest in real estate depends on how much cash you need, how much cash you're going to be without. Again, if it's a 90-day flip, obviously you want to prepare for the worst, but you'll be out of that cash 90 days. If you're doing the BRRRR method, hopefully you're getting your cash back quicker. If you're doing a long-term hold or a buy and hold or a flip and rent out or just a long-term rental, then obviously you put more cash up front or you get a mortgage for it, and then you're just making a slower amount over time. So just make sure you're prepared for that with down payment and things like that. So that is decide what method that you're going to take. So the second one is ducks in a row. That's what I call it. So make sure you get all your ducks in a row. After you know what method you're going to take, get all your ducks in a row. So if you're going to do everything through an LLC, which I would suggest, sometimes it's a little more paperwork and things like that if you have 6 properties under 6 different LLCs, but you're able to track and write off more expenses for each business. You can keep them separate. So if something does happen at one property and a renter tries to sue you or a contractor, they can't touch your other businesses. So again, another ducks in a row is your accountant and your lawyer. Make sure that they've prepared and that they know what you're doing, and they can help you out. Choose if you should get an LLC, should you get an S corp, what should you do. Again, getting the law side of it set up so you're protected, getting the insurance side of it so you're protected. So if somebody gets hurt on the job or a renter gets hurt or whatever it is, make sure that your ducks in a row and that you're protected. So and then obviously another thing, getting your ducks in a row is have your money ready. So again, going back to number one, depending on, are you putting all the money up front? Are you just putting a 20% down? Are you doing a 3% down where you literally get an FHA loan, you live in it for 2 years, then you rent it out and go buy another one? That's a whole lot less money down. But whatever method you're going with, make sure you get your down payment, have your finances in a row and get it ready. And then going back to our final episode of 2022, we talked about team. So make sure all your team is in order. You don't want to buy something and on closing day say, man, I got to go find a contractor. I got to go find a plumber. I got to go. Have your team ready and in place so when you find the right deal, you can jump on it quick. Have your mortgage application in and ready to go. Have your money liquid if you need the money liquid for the down payment or to buy things. Have your team and your renovations and all that in order and in place so when you find something, boom, you can jump on it, you can get it into action and all that. So the third D is it's due diligence. So DD is what we kind of call it in the real estate world. And that is, so now you found the property, you decide what you're going to do with it. You have your ducks in a row, you have your team in place, you have all that. Now you found the property. Make sure you do your due diligence. So one of the biggest things in due diligence is location. You hear it all the time. Location, location, location. You never want to buy the biggest house in the neighborhood. You never want to buy the best house in the worst neighborhood. You want to check neighborhoods and statistics. So we're in Baldwin County. If you look at the statistic for Baldwin County, Gulf Shores as a city and Orange Beach as a city has grown 50% in the past 10 years. There's other areas in North Baldwin County, like Bay Minette and other areas like that have seen little to no growth. So check your location out, check your area out, make sure you do the due diligence into seeing where you're buying it. If you're not buying it for investment properties, like on a coastal vacation, property, if it's more in the residential world, check the school systems. Make sure you know, where they're going to school. See if there's any laws that are prohibiting short-term rentals or HOA rules. All that goes into location to make sure that you can do what you want to do. Make sure you can pull the permits to get work done and things like that. So last two things in due diligence is the inspection and the appraisal. So usually you want to always get an inspection. As real estate agents, we always tell our clients, always get an inspection. Inspection normally anywhere from $400 to $600. It could be more on bigger complexes and multifamily and things like that. It's obviously going to be bigger, but that $500 or $600 could save you tens of thousands of dollars down the road. We've had clients that have bought properties, done inspections, and then found termite damage, or they found walls that are leaning, foundation damage, that if they would have bought the house, they'd have paid $20,000 to get foundation built back up, to put walls up and trench around the house and all things like that. So I think that $500 is more than worth it to save them. So get an inspection. Obviously, as men and people that are in the business more, we like to say, oh yeah, I can look and see what's wrong, but we don't have the license. We don't have, the knowledge that an inspector has, unless you're literally walking it with your general contractor and you're looking over every detail, making sure the roof is good, making sure underneath in the attic, the underneath part of the roof is good. Foundation, again, is a huge thing. Do your due diligence, pay the little bit of money to make sure you know what you're getting into. And then also appraisal. So if you're getting a loan, every bank's going to require an appraisal. Again, they don't want to go give you $200,000 on something that's worth $100,000. Because if you can't pay it, they just lost $100,000 if you can't pay your mortgage. So again, appraisals are required. But again, every situation's a little bit different. We had a ton the past couple years that as home prices were appreciating, condo prices were appreciating, people were paying cash and saying, hey, the flow, the money flow, the cash flow is there. I'm okay if it loses a little bit of value. I'm playing for the long term, for the money. I know I'm not going to sell in the next 4 years. 20 years from now, when I plan on selling, it'll be more than it's worth. So again, that's something that's a case by case. If you're getting a mortgage, they're gonna always require an appraisal. So again, inspections and appraisals are things the past couple years that people have been so desperate and eager to buy property, they've been waiving those. Well, now people are coming back and finding problems because they didn't do inspections, electrical problems and things like that. So again, we always say get an inspection, get your appraisal. Make sure you do your due diligence. Make sure your ducks in a row. Make sure you decide what route you're going to take. And once that's ready, go for it. Go for it. Again, you could always reach out if you have any questions or you need anything or you want to get into specifics of any part of this that we talked about. But those are the 3Ds, the 3 tips for people that are looking to buy investment properties. Hope you'll have a great week. See you next week.